Today, we are going to talk about number one lie that the neoliberal Democratic establishment would try and tell, or I should rather say, in order to guilt trip you voting Joe Biden. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mika's Hisukasa. And of course, as always, I'm your humble house. So today we're going to talk about the number one lie that they will sell you in order to convince you to vote. And some of you may be wondering how I know they will try and sell you this lie. Well, it's because it's actually the same lie they tried to use to sell us none other than Hillary Clinton. That lie? Well, it's simple. Once people have hit the reality that Joe Biden is just a horrible candidate, once people understand the reality that he literally has ran on maintaining the status quo, then all you can sell them is the fear of Donald Trump. However, a lot of the times, as we have seen in the past, doesn't work. People will either just not vote for either candidate, right? And vote down for every other candidate, or they'll just vote for Donald Trump. That happened in 2016 too. So what do they have? What's the only tool left that they have to use in order to convince you, an apathetic voter, to vote for Joe Biden instead of Donald Trump, or instead of a Green Party candidate, or instead of not voting for the presidential ticket at all, although you may still be inclined to, of course, vote for your other state and local elections? That lie. Well, you must be very privileged to not vote for Joe Biden. Those kids in those cages, you'll tell me you care about people of color when those kids in those cages aren't going to be set free while Donald Trump. Don't tell me you care about black people. They can't really point to anything particular on that side of the fence. Don't tell me you care about women. That sexist, evil bastard. Donald Trump is still president, and you decided that you didn't want to vote for Joe Biden. Get him. Don't tell me that you sorry. It's just I get really emotional to talk about Donald Trump. You know, I get really, really emotional because I can't quite put my finger on it, but he makes me very uncomfortable in a way that I just can't deal with. So don't tell me you care about all these people when you're gonna let the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States of America, get decided by Donald Trump. You are writhing in privilege. I can't. I'm so offended. That's what they're going to tell you. That's what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you that if you don't vote for Joe Biden, that you are in fact privileged. They're going to hit you with an argument that, of course, has been coined as a whataboutism, right? Different discussion for a different day. But that's what they're going to hit you with, right? And this is what it's going to probably sound like. And I have a question too. It's going to sound like this. They're going to say, what about those kids in cages? And you know, maybe under most circumstances, that might be a valid argument. Except for no one ever says, I don't know, what about those kids in cages? Because Joe Biden was part of the administration who started that practice. DACA was a front. Think of DACA like the $1,200 they gave us in order to get the largest corporate bailout and wealth transfer in history pushed through. It was just like that. No one ever said, they say, well, what about Charlottesville? You want another Charlottesville? That's what they say. But no one ever says, well, what about Ferguson, Missouri? Could you imagine if Trump had militarized the police force and then almost immediately there was a black man shot by cops and then there was riots under Donald Trump's presidency, where then they use that military gear to attack black people and destroy their lives. Could you imagine? The whole damn. And what was so bad about Ferguson was that they started feeling bad for Obama. Oh man, it sucks that he has to deal with it. This really does suck. Poor guy. You see him shed. They say they'll say well, what about the Supreme Court? Right? He said, what about Kavanaugh? Do you want another Kavanaugh? Nobody ever says, do you want another Scalia? Nobody ever says, do you want another Clarence Thomas? 2 Supreme Court justices that Joe Biden went to the mat for to get nominated. 2 conservative Supreme Court justices. Joe Biden fought. And hell, with Clarence Thomas, you get a twofer. Because Joe Biden fought for Clarence Thomas, who sexually assaulted Anita Hill. So Joe Biden then smeared a black woman to protect Clarence Thomas, the conservative Supreme Court judge nominated by George H.W. Bush. And he's not a fan of Roe v. Wade. That's like a threefer right there. You get sexual assault, conservative judge, and anti-abortion or anti-choice. Well, I guess, hey, to be fair to Biden, at least Clarence Thomas was black. Okay, it's cool. Now, I know what they say, people. I know what they say. They say, well, Barack Obama was friends with Biden, right? Biden, his segregationist past has been completely erased by smiling around the first black president all the time and riding the coattails of his. It means he's no longer. He's definitely not. You know what? Democrats. That's an interesting standard that you're. Because by your standard, that now means because, well, let's be honest. Trump and Ben Carson have a pretty damn good relationship, don't they? Trump and Ben Carson get along pretty well. Therefore, since Trump gets along with Ben Carson, every racist thing that you've said he's done no longer matters, Democrats. Did you know that? It's just, you guys are so revolutionary in your ability to forgive people that I'm sure you'll be more than willing now to forgive Donald Trump for all of his racist acts, right? Because we literally, because this is segregation is just different than just racism. There are a lot of racist people in the world. Black man, trust me, I know. There are racist people who you will never know is racist, and their racism may never affect your life because this is just who they are. They keep it to themselves, but they may never even be around another minority because they don't like them. That's bad. But a segregationist, oh no, that's completely. Ladies and gentlemen, segregationist is a racist who takes their institutional power and ensures that black people and other minorities are kept away from any type of infrastructure that can lead to potential prosperity in their communities. Segregation is one of the reasons that redlining. Hell, segregation is one of the reasons the fair housing laws are so strict. But hey, everybody, Joe Biden was friends with Barack Obama for 8 years. So it doesn't matter anymore. The truth of the matter is, to ignore the fact that Joe Biden pushed for Leah. He smeared a black to protect Clarence Thomas. Smeared Anita Hill. He's currently being accused of sexual assault, now finally being covered by that business insight. He's being currently accused of sexual assault by Tara Reid. You know, the only people who can afford to ignore these facts. These aren't opinions, people. These are facts. The only people who can afford to ignore these facts are those who have been privileged enough to not feel the wrath neoliberal wing of the day. They say, do you want another Iran? You know what we say? Do you want another Iraq? Do you want another Yemen? Well, yeah. Well, Obama started the selling of weapons to Saudi Arabia so that they could bomb Yemen. Do you want another Venezuela? Do you want another Honduras and Chile? Oh, and Haiti. Start scratching your head, huh? You're running out of things, aren't you? But do you want another? Pause. Bring it back. Burisma, Ukraine, $50,000 a month to your crackhead son. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. If I had a kid that was black like me, that got kicked out of the Navy for crack, he didn't get no job on the board of the largest energy company in the country, getting paid $50,000 a month. I could guarantee you that. He'll be lucky if his ass is not a felon at that point. They're going to sell you the people. They're going to sell you the lie that it is privilege that forces you to stand by your convictions. They're going to tell you that it is privilege that forces you to stand by your principle. You are so privileged. It must be nice to be so, because guess what? I'm not saying that every single Democrat is bad. You can go to the ballot box. You can vote for your commissioner who has a lot more control over your life, to be honest. You can vote for judges. You can vote for your legislature. You can vote for senators. You can vote for your council members, mayors, and there's plenty of things that will directly impact your life, that will not directly compromise your morals, your values, to the point of like you not. I know people that voted for Hillary that literally still feel like they can. That's something you can't really forget. You might not think about it, but there are plenty of ways for you to ensure that none of these demon parties implement policies that destroy your life. There are plenty of ways to do so that don't involve you selling your soul, bending over to one half of the. The 94 crime bill, come on, bro. He won't even apologize for it. Medicare for all would still veto. You know what Joe Biden is advocating for? He wants to open the markets so people can buy healthcare with the money they don't have. How magnanimous of you. And if you don't vote for that, it means you're privileged in all of your brokenness. Do you know what Martin Luther King said once? He said, it is not the overt racist, paraphrasing, not the overt racist is the biggest threat to the equality of black people. Is the moderate white. You know who he was referring to? Like Nancy. Moderate ones who will put a smile on it. The moment they get a chance to sell you down the river, they will do it. So do not let anybody whatsoever convince you that somehow, some way, that you are the one who is exercising privilege in standing by your principles. No. That's not what's happening. They are the ones exercising privilege by ignoring themselves and trying to ignore what your eyes, your ears, your brain, the facts there. You can see them. You can read them. You can see the video. Listen to read the legislation. I challenge you. You are considering voting for Joe Biden. I know some people who watch this video are going to. You are considering voting for Joe Biden. I challenge you. Read the contents of he fought for it. It was known as he. Read the contents of that bill and see if you can still convince. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for live stream. Mikasa, subscribe, like, and share this video.